Today my guest is Kathy Sanderson, and I thought about introducing you, Kathy, but then I thought, oh, maybe you just do it yourself, and that will be, you know yourself better than I know. Yeah.
Well, yes, that's true. Again, so I'm Kathy Sanderson. I have just moved to Wales in the past, it's over 2 years now. So yeah, I'm a resident of Wales. Originally from Birmingham. I am a wife, mother of 3 amazing children, and I am the co-founder of the community camping and healing weekends and gatherings, where we put together a place where people can come find community, can find connection, they can find relaxation on our beautiful mountains in southwest Wales, and they can find healing.
Yes, I've been there. It's beautiful. It's beautiful there, yeah, and so filled with nature and good vibes of the land, right? And so you kind of answered my first question. I wasn't preparing any questions, but then half an hour ago I thought about our conversation coming and thought I would ask you about the whole idea for coming up. What was behind the idea to launch such a big thing, such a big
it's
like a project,
funny.
yeah?
It's funny because it is a big thing. But the idea just was given to me. Oh, if we froze. The idea was given to me.
Okay. Don't worry about me freezing or you freezing. I think as long as audio is recorded, we are fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So when we sold our house in Birmingham, we had the stamp duty rush, which they didn't have in Wales. So we had to be out of our house before we actually bought the other house. The sale was through. So we were staying in a caravan park for a while. Not a while, like a holiday, so a week. Mm-hmm. But of course, it was really, really busy. The only place we could get was this place in Kent. And it was really weird for us. It's not the type of place we used to go. So it was just at the end of lockdown, July 2021. And everyone was jumping out of everyone's way, 2-meter rule. Everyone had masks on. No one was allowed to be. The kids weren't really listening. So like the kids' disco and stuff in the main hall, the kids would play, but everything else. And then as soon as it finally went through on the Thursday, and I said to Dave, because he came back from the kids' disco or something, I think I was in pod, and I said, do you reckon that we could just like have people come to our land and hug? We could put something on where people could just come and hug, because the whole thing about hugging at that stage was ridiculous. We had idiots on this morning hugging people through plastic condoms type thing. So hugging was not. So I said, do you think we could do it? I said, I suppose I could ask my friends, Jodie and Scott, Helena, there was another one as well, Larissa, if they wanted to put some workshops on, and we could just have a little get together. So that's what we did. We moved in 7 weeks. I give Dave, when we moved onto our land, it was sheep farm. She was keeping sheep as pets so that she could use their fleece as rugs that she sold. So 2 sheep fields he had. He had to make the compost toilets. He had to make an area where people could camp and make it safe. He did all of that. 46 people I had never ever met came and joined us through Facebook. Yeah. And
that's brilliant.
It was a magical week. You were there. It's the most magical weekend.
The first one I was there.
Yeah, you were at the very first one.
That was the very first one, yeah.
you know, there's a lot different it is now. There's only 6 workshops. But, you know, a lot of those people come back and keep coming back and bring their friends. So when at the end of it, it was such a great success, they all told me I had to keep doing it. So that's what we've done. And it was never, ever anything that we planned. We wanted to come over here and wanted to get holiday less. What he was going to do. And yeah, we've never ever planned to do this, but it's grown into something that not only benefits the local community, but we have people coming from Devon, we have people coming from Lincoln, we have people coming from Scotland, we've had people from Northern Ireland. And even our adults only weekend, we had a gentleman, Dan, who came from Canada, and he loved it so much that he's coming next year to do it again. So there's obviously not what we're putting on in many places.
Yeah, definitely. You really can't advertise it too much, because then you will not have enough land for all the people who will come, you know.
But yeah, we're limited, aren't we? Because you know.
So basically everything has grown organically from the idea and intention to let people come together and be able to hug, and despite the restrictions, and then I imagine from one thing led to another, and that's how it came about the way it is now, right?
Yeah, and you know, we were only doing weekends, and then in 22 we had our, I think it was an April one, and people were like, no, you need to do it for longer, it's not long enough for weekend. So we did the August gathering, so we do a 6-day gathering, and I say it's like the campsite film, holiday camping, but without the actual hidey-hi. So it's a nice holiday camp, relaxed. Everyone comes together as a family. It's all community orientated. We eat together. Dave now does cooking, so he cooks meals, so people don't have to cook if they don't want to. Sports day kind of team building activity. Actually had this week, this August, we had radio across the world, the BBC show, who are local to, I think they're from Swansea, one of them is, and they can speak about their whole journey about going across Canada and stuff. So it's amazing to be given this opportunity to create this place where people come and they drive down our track and they just feel like they're home.
Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna move because I think we are losing a bit of audio as well. It's cracking up. Let's see if I can find a better signal. I am in Frome at the moment. We're just not far away from Bath, city of Bath, and the place is lovely, and it has like a very, very ancient spirit to it, you know, energy. And here is behind me is like a Saint John the Baptist Church, where I've been tracking the symbol of fleur de lis, because for some reason it just keeps popping up in my awareness. And so what is currently happening at your place? What's the next thing for you now?
Well, me and Dave have been taking down the bunkhouse because that was only a temporary structure. So we put in place, because a lot of people come who want to come to sport, and worked out that there are quite good links, not quite good, but there is one link, public transport link. But then coming with a tent and equipment, the trip can be awkward, especially if it's just yourself coming. So we put some shared accommodation. But we've just been taking that down because it was sinking.
I think I've lost you. I've lost you for a sec.
No, that's not.
Are you back?
5G is on the phone. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. I find when 5G is on my phone, the internet doesn't make sense, does it?
No, not really. Maybe it could be on my side. I'm not sure because yeah.
No, because it's telling me I've got 5G, but then I've actually got no reception bars.
All right. Okay. Anyway,
that's the beauty of living on a mountain.
Let's keep going, and then if anything, we can always do another one. You know, if we lose too much. Cool. Yeah.
Yes, we've got a few workshops. So we're teaching people animal communication and healing. And,
oh wow, that's interesting.
Then
yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it's a powerful thing to be able to have that connection with your pets, and you can know them if they're in pain, because pets can't tell us. And then the day after we have a tea blending, so you know that I'm quite passionate about foraging and that type of stuff. So discovering 3 types of plant that you can, or flower that you can use for basic teas, and then what you can add to them, and then people can make mixes. So I'm really looking forward to both those. They're both fun workshops. And then next year, I'm finally able to do my inner child retreat, which I dreamt of doing in Birmingham. I never ever thought it'd be a possibility. And yeah, it's happening next year in May.
Cool. So could you say again? I think I lost that bit. The one you wanted to do in Birmingham. Which one is it?
Oh, the inner child retreat.
Inner child retreat. Oh wow, that sounds good. And yeah, what about the animal communication? Do you have someone coming to do the workshops on that?
Yes. So Fiona Griffin, who is Master Reiki and animal communicator, she runs that workshop. So she comes from London and she delivers it down to us, which is very nice. And then as she was coming this way and would be staying with us, I thought, let's do a tea workshop. So we get to learn about teas, and we get to make our own blends, and people can take them away. And then we do a tea ceremony, which I'm really looking for.
Nice. Tea is like making tea and drinking tea is like very popular tradition in like in East, right? In China. And it is like I imagine, I've never really been into that, but I imagine it's just like very kind of mindfulness and meditative practice to, you know, prepare everything from scratch and sit together and like enjoy the moment.
Well, you know, just knowing that you can go out into your garden and you can most probably find mint, you can normally find nettles. And you know, there's roses places, there's loads of things that you can use for tea. You can use hawthorn leaves and berries, you can use rose hips, you can use blackberries. I made a lovely tea with blackberry the other day. We're taught that the only tea that you drink is PG tips. So by being able to understand how to make these teas, which are really, really simple, but we've been taught that we know nothing. So it's just about remembering.
Yeah, it's just going back to the roots, right? When nothing was packed up and labeled, but it was like picked up and used.
Yeah, picked fresh as well.
So that brings me into maybe. Do you know anything about mugwort? Mugwort herb.
I love mugwort.
So when I was in Poland recently. Sorry, carry on.
No, I want to hear your story.
Okay, when I was in Poland recently, I don't know, I was watching something online and someone mentioned mugwort, and that was like, you know, many times before I heard about it, but never got to try it. And then I went to the like a herbal shop in Warsaw and got myself 2 bags of mugwort tea. Oh my goodness, it made me sleep so long, and the dreams were pretty vivid as well. So that's very interesting, yeah. And especially I heard that people in certain cultures, I think it's Finland or Scandinavian people in general, they would use it with honey that would enhance the power of mugwort as well in the tea.
Oh, with honey.
With honey, yeah, because it's quite bitter. By nature, it's quite bitter, right, in taste.
I've not noticed that. I normally have mugwort tea. Sometimes I add mint to it.
Okay.
So I've been very fortunate. Some friends have some mugwort. So and my forager friend brought me some last year, so I'd stored it away. But yeah, I don't notice its bitterness. I've never had any difference with the dreams, whether I don't take enough, but it's very good for females as well, around menstruation and things like
All
that.
right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's several benefits. I just went for it with the pure intention to, to have more vivid dreams, and apparently it's one of those herbs that induces lucid dreaming as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can smoke it as well. A lot of people smoke it.
Yeah, I've heard.
And,
I've heard about that. Yeah, and there is quite a few different one. I think it's a herb called Damiana or Damiana, something like that. It's like like a name, Damon, and that sounds similar. That the name of that herb, and there is quite a few that have similar benefits, like inducing vivid dreams and things like that, or just good for before bedtime. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mugwort is the one that's native to the UK, because I've not heard of that one. But you know how like everyone goes crazy about using Palo Santo sage their house and things like that. But we originally used mugwort.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Because you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can burn it. You can smoke it as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And this topic about animal communication is I am really curious about that because naturally I have sensitive my body is sensitive, and I am really sensitive to animals as well. So they kind of like they if there is a dog around, then pretty sure that he or she will come to me, sooner or later, and we going to be friends just from the get-go. It's just unless it's a nasty dog, then or I am in the nasty mood. Yeah, but
they're good, very good
similar things with
they?
cats, and so I'm just thinking that because obviously everyone has different sensitivity, and this is also connected to how our bodies handle like environment and food, certain food and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all connected to the kind of like to this notion of sensitivity. So I'm just thinking, how can you what's the how can you, let's say, if someone is has a story in their mind that they cannot communicate with animals for some reason, then how would you what I don't know what I'm asking really, but I think I'm asking what's the process on during the workshops. What's obviously obviously you can give me the whole process. We don't have time for that, and we want people to experience that, right? But yeah,
it's really
you just
simple.
briefly. Okay, cool.
It's really simple, and I think the problem is that in our own way so much, and we doubt what we do, and we doubt what we see, and we doubt what we hear.
What we feel.
So this workshop, you learn how to do it. You communicate through photos, so you know you can. So you bring a photo and someone else can look at it, and you can learn and understand. And then obviously Fiona's there, and she can guide you and give you that reassurance that actually what you're hearing is what you're hearing. But really simply, if you imagine, do you know the Care Bears?
Care Bears, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It used to be one of my favorite cartoons.
Yes, they're brilliant, aren't they? So when they wanted to send love or make a rainbow, they would just literally blast out this love or the colour from their heart.
Yeah.
So if you imagine that you are a Care Bear, and you have all of this love in your heart, then you send love out to the animal. And then that creates a bridge.
Okay, yeah, that's, yeah.
So that's really how simple it is. But then
that's how simple it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very often the challenge is to to kind of stop thinking and start feeling and start experiencing, right? Because in the head we have this all the conditioning and what is possible, what is not possible, and yeah, exactly. And the things that are not kind of like not material and you cannot grasp with logic, then they are usually dismissed because of them being intangible. So it's just, yeah, but we are moving back towards the times when the cycle continues. We are moving back towards the times when people actually just feel more and communicate more on the beyond five senses, like you said. Like you said, then you just feel it in your heart. So the same, like for example, like when I'm doing exercise that is about my heart vision, about what I would love to be, if I was fully myself, and what I would love the world to be if everyone was connected to their heart. And that is what you just described. It is like you feel that in your heart, it's you feel that energy is growing, and it gives you like straight away give you so much energy and makes you emotional and makes you feel alive. Yeah.
But when you connect with an animal, if you've never connected with the animal before, or they've never been connected with, they can think it's really quite strange. They're like, what's this? What's this? Someone could actually hear me?
Yeah, because I know what you mean. They are like that, yeah. But they just pick up on everything, and they just feel, yeah.
Now you see, when I learned to do this originally, I didn't do it much because I've got 3 kids. I've got a husband. I've got dogs, cats, guinea pigs, chickens, and just the kids make enough noise. So having to constantly listen to the dogs and the cats as well, I didn't do it. But it does come in handy. So say like the cats have gone out for the night and you're wondering where they are before you go to bed. So our Maine Coon, Dave was fussing, worrying about him. And I'm like, he just doesn't want to come home. It's gone a little bit warmer. He's just having fun. And he's panicking. And I'm like, just go to bed and he'll be there in the morning, because I'm talking to him and I'm saying, will you come home because your daddy's worried? And he's going, no, I'll be home when I come. I'll be home when I'm coming home. You'll see me in the morning. So when I woke up in the morning, he was tucked up right next to me in bed.
Yeah.
But just being able to have these communications, but it also means you can. So, lady, on one of our courses, she was we were practicing, so she showed the dog, and I connected in, and I could feel this pain in the shoulder, and she's like, "Oh no, he's got no pain, no." So, you start to doubt yourself, but then because you're in a learning environment, and the teacher, i.e., Fiona, has a look too, she's like, "Oh no, I can feel that too." So then they go and they get the animal checked. And it means that that animal never actually has to show the signs of pain to get treated, because animals can only show us when we can actually notice those signs. They can't come up and say, "Mummy, I've got pain in my shoulder." We'll notice it because they're limping or something. But by the time they're limping, we've missed those early signs, haven't we?
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful that you pick up on those things like that. Yeah. So then, if you describe, if you could describe the inner child, is that going to be a retreat? Did you say?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be. So I always call them a weekend. Realize that what we do put on our retreats.
Did you say weekends?
They're not huge, big, busy festivals.
Because I think we lost you for a sec. Did you say you always call them weekends?
Yeah, I always call them weekends, and then we start calling them retreats. And I realised that they are a retreat away from normality and the people who think you're crazy. But they're not. It's different to the people who've been putting on like awake festivals and things like that. It's not a festival. It's not somewhere where you're going to come and get lost. It's somewhere where you're going to come and everyone's going to know everyone, and you're going to be part of a huge community. So really, it is retreat. But the inner child one, I've done it a bit differently. So when we run our women's retreat, everything's done for you. And you come and you sleep in our lovely bell tents on proper beds, and the food's made by Rachel and Kez, and it's amazing, and it's all gluten-free, plant-based, no refined sugars, proper spot on. But then I thought the inner child retreat, I thought that it needed to be different. So you can come and camp, or you can glamp, or you can come in your camper van. Or we've got shared accommodation, the bell tents again. So you pay one amount, which is £200 for the whole weekend. Then if you want food, there's options, or you can just come and cook it up. But it means that it's more accessible to everyone rather than it being the expensive price that some retreats are. And we're going to have inner child reconnection. We're going to have inner child healing. You're going to understand how to. What I'm going to teach you is so that you can go away and you can do these deep delving. So you don't have to go to someone, because quite often when you want to get into something, you have to go to someone. It becomes a big expense. And there are people there for when you get stuck. But the whole energy that we're moving into is being authentic and understanding that actually we've got all the answers. So the whole of this weekend is teaching you how to find those answers. And then, of course, we're going to have lots of ways to reconnect to your inner child through forest play, through crafts, through some forest school type things. Yeah, so it's going to be half healing, learning, all of those types, and then half play. I mean, you can't get better, really, can you?
because the play is very important to inner child, right?
Yeah.
And each of us has different type of play that we love to engage, if we obviously let ourselves to do that, because that's the whole idea, that there are often these blockages that we don't let ourselves be this inner child again, because fear of criticism, fear of rejection, and the very things that we encountered when we were at that age, right? And when we let ourselves like you know, experience those things again. Those, whether for me it could be writing stories, could be painting, you know, and could be like I was talking earlier about investigating fleur de lis, you know, like doing things like that. This is my inner child, you know, and being in nature as well. And everyone has different things, but yeah, that sounds good. Are you going to be climbing trees as well? Or obviously,
Yeah,
whoever
we're
wants
going to
can.
have, you know, so we've got the forests, haven't we? So we can do
Yeah.
the climbing of the trees. We can play on the play areas and swing in the swings in the trees. And we're going to have shelter building type things and crafting activities because one of my things about shutting away my inner child was I really hated I hated being a child. I wanted to be an adult. So I never allowed myself really from probably 8 or 9 to actually be that child, to go and do
Mhm.
those things because I always wanted to look like I was with the adults, the
Yeah,
older kids,
yeah,
because then you had some
and
kind of say over your own life, didn't you then?
yeah, and how how you think that came about, that you didn't want to be a child? What was
Just
like
because I didn't
you didn't feel? Yeah, yeah.
um I didn't want to be a child. I wanted to be an adult because adults had say over their own life.
Okay. Yeah.
So and I didn't want to get laughed at. A lot of my a lot of what I remember is getting laughed at and being felt like I was stupid. So when you're playing and you're acting like a child, um,
Hmm.
that's what happens. But I'm watching the adults, and the adults are able to have their own life, and I want to be
Hmm.
that adult. So I grew up very quickly, and I
Hmm.
made sure that I knew all of the adult things, but missed out on actually feeling free to play.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, it is like you know, I think it's like universal theme that we as human beings we and it's regardless the age, we just don't really like being in the now, you know. Because it's uncomfortable, you know, it's uncomfortable. Probably, you know, not going too deep into your story, but I would imagine that there was something that you know, usually we don't want to be where we are because we don't feel safe or we don't feel appreciated and things like that. So then obvious logical escape for you would be at that age would be, oh, becoming an adult, because then I will have my own say, and like you said, you will not feel vulnerable. Yeah.
But also, as well, I took on responsibility for my family's happiness, and I had to
All
be the
right.
one.
Okay. Yeah. 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 That's a big thing as well,
Yeah.
especially for sensitive people. Yeah. It's
So,
like that's how we kind of try to get love, by being responsible for yeah, for happiness of others. Yeah.
and like making decisions and making phone calls and being that
Oh.
responsible, or
Yeah.
the one who can communicate, those types of things. So there wasn't really, you know, when you're trying to be that person, there isn't much time for play. I did love craft, you know, I
Hmm.
loved knitting, I loved sewing, all of those things. They were what I did. I didn't do play because obviously crafting and knitting and sewing and stuff was adulty kind of activities.
Hmm.
That I knit
That's
from
very
the age of
interesting.
7, and I thought
I think I've lost you. I think, okay, you were muted for a second. You are back.
my mother was calling me. She must have heard me talking. Yeah, so
I thought it sounded like because you got muted for a second. It sounded like your mother was calling you now.
yes, she called me.
Happy
She called me on the
dinner.
phone.
Ah, she did. Okay.
It's not like she can hear me, even though she's next door. But
All
yeah,
right.
she
Yeah.
psychologically heard me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those types of things, they just make you, and of course, when you're not happy with that situation, you want to escape it, don't you? And do as much as you
Absolutely.
can.
Yeah. And you know, we have such an inventive minds that we can come up with all sorts of inventions to escape. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted
Yeah.
to be an adult.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So you know, yeah. So interesting that my daughter, she's 10 now, and I feel that she's going through similar things right now. It's like, you know, it's obviously different times, and you have the TikToks and all this social media stuff that you can use now, and but yeah, she's 10, and by her behavior I see that she would love to be a teenager already, at least, you know.
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, it's like I guess, you know, I remember the time when I was I don't know if I was like maybe already maybe teenager, but I remember when I was thinking, uh, how would that be to be like 20 something? And I looked at people who were 20 something and I thought, oh my goodness, that's amazing, you know. And then when I was 20 something, I had no fucking clue what to do with my life, you know.
But you know, I was diagnosed diabetic when I was 12.
Oh wow.
And
Mhm.
all of the things that I was disappointed about, the biggest disappointment was that I was told not to smoke. That just tells you what I thought being an adult was.
Say again about the disappointment, because the connection was broken in that
Oh,
moment.
I was told that I couldn't smoke.
Ah, I thought you said that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you couldn't smoke.
I
Okay,
couldn't
okay.
smoke. So all of the
Hmm.
things, food, no. The major disappointment I remember is told that I would never be able to smoke. Started smoking
Yeah,
when I was 15, but I was told I would never be able to smoke. So what would
okay.
earth was going through a 12-year-old girl's mind that the biggest disappointment that she found out that she got a life-threatening condition was that she couldn't smoke? You know,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't register, does it?
yeah. I can see the connection. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's like the biggest disappointment was that you couldn't be an adult. Yeah, because
Yeah,
adults could
couldn't
smoke.
be like my
That
aunt.
was the association. Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Everyone
interesting.
smoked in my family apart from my mum. So
Mm-hmm.
all my dad's sisters, all his brothers, my nan, my aunts, everyone, you know, we came from an Irish community. Everyone smoked apart from my mum. And I was never ever going to be like my mum. So to be told that you can't do that one thing that separates you from your mum was it's got to have been some, I don't know. Need to dig into that maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, you know, like those things unveil, you know, as we go through life, and we just kind of like scrape off. I like to see it like, you know, like when we do this shadow work, then we go down to the, you know, to the underworld of our psyche. We scoop a little shit out from there, we bring it to the light, that is released, and then next time the same theme comes up in our life, we go and we scoop up the layer which is below the previous one, you know. And it
Yeah,
just, yeah, but it's like kind of never ending story, it seems, but
it seems that way, doesn't it? I
fascinating.
recently got to a really big root cause from age 2 or 3. So, you know, like when there's so many things around happiness, isn't there? And they believe that the blocks to happiness are that you don't deserve to be happy. You know,
Yeah.
you don't, you have an unworthiness to be happy. So all of the work I was doing around being happy was all about self-love and all of those things. Whereas I recently found out that actually I did a journeying. I really like journeying, shamanic journeying. And I was shown this, I was showing my mum saying to me, you're only happy when you're upsetting your brother. You're only happy when you're making him miserable. So there's a lot of stuff around me being feeling selfish, mean, unkind, evil, those types of things. So that would have added to all of that. So what I discovered was actually I wasn't that horrible person. And because it was said to me often enough, if I'm happy, then other people are sad, other people are miserable. So very, very deep subconscious level, I would never allow myself to be happy because I didn't want other people to be miserable. But you would never have come across that in a book because everything is around not being worthy. So
definitely.
That shamanic experience.
Yeah, that's interesting because you know I feel similar with money situation. My money situation. It's like, you know, I've done so many things, you know, and approached it from so many different angles, and you know, digging deep. But like you're saying now, very often is like something that is the least expected will be behind the whole thing. Yeah. And that's really interesting. Yeah.
Past life energy, but not past life energy, generational energy. So like my family, like Irish, so potato famine and having to come over to England, all of that type of stuff. So that's held in my DNA. I've healed it, so that's fine. But unless you know about those things, we hold the energy for poverty and famine and the pain and the sadness it caused us in our DNA. Well, we're not taught that, are we?
Yes, absolutely. So this is, you know, I'm not sure if you heard of this system called gene keys.
Gene keys.
Gene keys, like genes,
Oh,
you know,
gene keys, yes.
Yeah, gene keys, like unlock the genes, you know, gene keys.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the whole idea about the like universal archetypes being stored in our DNA and being passed down generation to generation to the next one, and you know, unless we kind of like decide first, obviously we have to be aware enough that we carry this pattern, yeah, this let's say this shadow pattern that our family carried before us. Then if we decide we want to change it, then that is like that's how we heal the whole, you know, generations before us and those that will come after us, right?
Yeah. And
So,
there's so many ways to do that, isn't there? There's like ancestral work and going back through that DNA and the family line and the lineage.
Absolutely. So many ways to do it. Yeah.
I read a book recently and it shocked me really because I didn't really sort of like understand how it can affect and how like it could come from a great aunt or something. But I read a book called It Didn't Start With You.
Okay.
And it was literally like I think one of the first stories was a lady who just felt this intense sadness and like loss and worrying that she was going to lose everyone all the time. And they traced it back to her grandma who was killed in the Holocaust.
Okay.
So she was carrying that energy.
Yeah.
even though she never experienced it, even though she'd
Yeah.
never known that grandma, when she hit the same age as her grandma dying, she had all of those problems. Now, if he hadn't have gone and done this work with her, she would have just been on tablets or gone to a mental institution, any
Yeah.
of those things, because no people in the profession, the medical profession, would actually know these things. But by doing some releasing work, she was cleared of it. That wasn't her story, but she had to finish her grandma's story.
Yeah. Yes, and like you were saying earlier on about taking responsibility for your parents, that is also connected to how we kind of want to, because part of our like wiring, mental and emotional is tribal, right? We want to, it's like it's stronger than any ideal really, because it's in the body, it's in the mind, and so we want to stay loyal to our tribe. And
Yeah.
when our family, let's say, have these limiting beliefs about money, I'm talking about my situation now, and they believe that you can have money only when you work hard. That's my story of my family. Then part of you wants to stay like loyal to that tribe, even though consciously that it's rubbish. And that's the interesting thing, that it's getting that part on board, and like making the slate clean, because yeah, definitely this is
Your
not my
your
this is not my
family
conscious belief. Yeah.
So your family don't support you because you won't go and work like 50 hours a week in a factory or something.
Yes, yes. So yeah, basically, uh, from my closest family, I have only my mom is only alive now. Oh, I've lost you again. Kathy, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a good job you are editing this.
Yeah. Or maybe not. Who knows? If that's the thing. In my heart, I have always had this inkling to go, to take path of least resistance. And like what feels right to you, it feels right, right? and that's
Yeah.
that's always been under the criticism in my family, that you can't just be like that. You can't just live your life just just doing what feels right. And that so I came to this life as a like a beam of authenticity. And I've lost you again. Are you back?
And keep trying.
Okay. Yeah. So I was saying I came to this life like a kind of like a beam of authenticity into my family, which obviously when people have their own ways and their own patterns, then something new energy is not very accepted, because it just destroys everything that you thought was real. And but obviously, to survive emotionally, most of all, I had to kind of adapt to it. Or maybe I didn't have to, but I decided I would adapt to it. Keep losing you. Keep losing you.
At least we come back.
Yeah, yeah. At least we come back. Yeah. So, yeah. So I was, I decided to basically to kind of ditch myself for the sake of, let's say, having peace of mind and not being criticized, and but that never worked anyway. So. Yeah, but your question was about whether my family would accept me if I was working, 50 hours a week or even 40 hours a week, let's say.
Yeah.
And who knows? I don't know now, to be honest, because you have how we humans are. Sometimes when we decide that we don't want, we humans are like, when we decide we don't accept someone or something, then no matter what happens, we will not accept that person anyway. So I don't know what would happen if I was actually working 40 or 50 hours per week, but I would never do that because my body is not, it's not fit for that. And it always, I used to do that, and it just killed me mentally, physically, and emotionally. And
Yeah.
and that's where I would escape to drink over the weekend, because to kind of like forget.
You know, they come from a place of safety, don't they? That's what they've always done. That's what's always
Yeah,
kept them
yeah.
safe. So my family were Irish immigrants, so they had to come over because there was no work. They came over and they worked damn hard. My dad would go to work at 4:45 in the morning and get home at 5:15. So I learned that by working hard, money. Only
Mm-hmm.
six, I bought my own house, those types of things, and ran my own house. But I was working 3 jobs. I was working a full-time job. I was working weekends, selling credit cards, and I was doing market research, and I was working at the week in the evenings. My
Oh wow.
doctor, I kept going to my doctor, ill, ill,
Mm-hmm.
ill. And he's like, well, until you stop working so much, then this is going to continue. Remember, and bearing in mind, I'm a type 1 diabetic, this is not good. So then Dave came into my life, and we were able to started living together, and things became easier. But and I didn't need to work so hard. And then, of course, we had Maisie, and we were in the position where I could stay at home. But it meant that we would just buy secondhand
Mm-hmm.
all the time, but that meant that we could be more of a family and more family orientated. But
Yeah.
for someone to come along and to shift that belief, it's hard, because it's what's kept everyone safe, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you know that obviously now I know the story behind it, because for example, my mom, when she was young, she had her own dreams, and her dreams were shattered by what she was told by her parents, and and you know how it is, this biofeedback loop, that you start believing in something that becomes reality, and then the reality confirms, oh cool, that's a cool one.
That's the Halloween party that they're going to in a minute.
All right, cool. Yeah, so and then it's like this vicious cycle, yeah, that
Yeah.
we believe, yeah, and it becomes our reality. Yeah. Yeah. Kathy, I think we are coming to the end of our conversation. Oh my goodness, the hour has flown by.
It has,
Uh,
isn't it?
if you would like, tell us maybe about once again what is coming up for you now, and where people can find you and how people can connect with you.
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook, Kathy Sanderson. I think I'm currently a picture of a witch, but I'm not sure when this is coming out. So there's a family picture of us all dressed up as witches. Yeah, find me on Facebook. Find us at Community Camping, the Community Camping and Healing Gatherings Facebook groups. There is actually a website. It's not brilliant, which is communitygatherings.uk. You can find all the information there. We have got weekends next year. We've got a 6-day gathering. We've got adults only. We've got inner child, and we've got our women's retreat. And we are also having our first festival. So that's acoustic music, some healing workshops, some stalls,
Nice.
and that's Manifest, which is very interesting. And I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting.
Nice. And when is the very next one?
Oh, okay. So the next one, so the 18th and 19th of November is the Animal Communication and Healing Week workshop and the tea blending workshop.
All right. So you're
and
doing
then
one
the end
before Christmas. Yeah, cool.
Yes, we've got a January. So people don't think about meeting up in January, but by the time it gets to January, they realise that there's been nothing available, no meetups, no festivals, nothing. So we put one on in January that people can come to in camper vans. It's too cold to tent, unfortunately, but we may have some shared accommodation because we're converting a horse camper van type thing.
Okay.
And then, come together around the campfire. We'll still have workshops. It's just a place where people can come and escape that dullness of the winter that never seems to end.
Nice, nice. So thank you for having you, Kathy, and I hope we'll do another one soon.
Yes, it's been fun. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, it's been lovely. Next time we'll try to have like a maybe better internet signal so we can see you all the time. But yeah, I'm probably not going to edit it anyway. I'm just going to post it and path of least resistance,
Let's see what needs to happen.
You know how it is. Yeah, you know how it is that sometimes you have this, you have a project. Yeah, you have for example, I'm writing a book, and I love coming up with the story. I love creating scenes, but I am not so keen on like a strict edit, like a really, like a edit it at the end, because I know it has to be edited, because when I read it, when it's not edited, it sounds shit. So I know I have to edit it, but I am happy to do the first edit, but I wouldn't like to be doing that all over again like publishers do, So in every project we have those little things that we love doing and those things that we are not so keen on.
Yeah.
So and when I've obvious, this is quite obvious to other people, but to me it has taken me a while to realize that when we start collaborating with each other more and finding people who actually enjoy doing those things, then we can, we not only make ourselves happy, we give other people something they enjoy doing, and then the project can thrive, right? So so I see this podcast as well as a part of connecting more with people, chatting more to people, and bringing people together. So everyone who's listening, if you are feeling drawn to Kathy's energy and the words she's saying, her retreats, then get in touch and create something together. Yeah.
And don't forget, children. I think we're the only only gatherings that do this. Children up until the age of 16, so 16 and under, are free. So, if you're a single parent, you never get a chance to go to a workshop because you can't get childcare. You can come here, your children are free. You pay your £120 for the weekend. You can go to as many workshops as you like. There's activities for the children. You know, you can't get better, really.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So it's almost 16 years old. It's almost adult. Yeah. So you have
Yeah.
almost free retreats for almost adults.
Yeah, but when they're 6, money, are they? You know, when people start charging full price for 12 and upwards, like Alton Towers, you know, but other
Yeah.
festivals do this. You know, my children aren't working. How am I supposed to suddenly pull like that money out the air? They're not bringing money into us. So we say 16 and under because the majority of those are still at school. When they're older, they can earn their own money, but to enable you to be able to bring them and for it to not to cause financial hardship to people, well, hey, you know, they come, they brighten up the place, you know, everywhere's better with kids. And yeah, that's just what we will always do. Kids 16 and under will be always free.
Yeah, and it's beautiful place, and kids can get some nature vibes, yeah, at your place, at your camping.
And get off their
Which is
screen.
brilliant. Yeah, yeah.
Make real friends. Learn how to make real connections with kids, and they come back.
Absolutely, and play together, yeah, in the woods, and yeah, absolutely amazing, yeah. Lovely to connect with you again because we haven't spoken for ages.
No.
Yeah, and let's you know, maybe in a couple of months or so, let's do it again, and it will be after this November retreat, right?
Yeah, let me just try and show you something. Can I turn the camera? Yeah, right. Do you recognise this?
Oh wow, nice. Nice.
Dave's got it in our bedroom.
Cool.
I just realised I was standing right by you. I can show you.
That's cool.